Diana, how wonderful to see you. It's so nice to see your face with you traveling
Yes.
all over the place.
And I guess you want to know, where am I, right?
I do indeed, yes.
Hello from Croatia, everyone. That's a beautiful place to be in. And it's not quite part of the digital nomad life because it is actually a vacation part. We're here right now. So we are enjoying a wonderful week here. And yeah, beautiful outside. I was jumping into the pool this morning, ready for the interview now, wearing my shorts down here. So very excited to see you here, Lucy.
Oh, it's just so great to catch up with you. And I know that everybody's going to be really interested in this interview, particularly because it is living the dream, isn't it? I mean, for myself, I'd thought several times that once the children had left home, maybe we could go and do 3 months in Hong Kong and 3 months in New York and 3 months on,
Right.
but it just never seems to work out like that. So hats off to you for doing it. But I want
Thank
to
you.
ask you, first of all, how long have you been out on the road as a digital nomad?
Well, it's still pretty new. We started end of May, so by the time we're going to see this recording in September for ES Tech, it's going to be around 4 months. Yeah, so I'm very excited.
Oh, amazing. But what made you decide that you wanted to do it? Was it kind of gradual, or was there something that happened that made you and your husband decide you wanted to go out on the road?
I think really this was only the positive thing that came out of the corona pandemic because I got to be home. All of my speaking gigs were canceled. I had to really adjust to a new working style and changing and updating my portfolio, hoping that my clients are ready for digital training. Luckily, they were. And I really enjoyed the time being home because, as you, I've been chasing airplanes and, running after trains and missing this flight, missing this train, and, losing so much time, quality time when I travel. I love to travel for personal stuff, but I hate it when it's for business, honestly. I love to be there once I'm there, but, all these hassles are around this because usually, and people who follow me on social media, they know there's always something going wrong when Diana travels. And so that's the case. I was home. I enjoyed the quality time with my husband, who has been working from home as well. Of course, we spent a lot of time with Phoebe, who was still with us. And I enjoyed it. And I felt like I need to really rethink the way I work, and I really want to do more quality time because after being almost 6 years in the business and running and of course establishing a brand, and what this being out there and proving yourself and bringing quality, I felt I'm a little bit tired and I really want to spend more time with family because, as a lot of people probably listening to us today, Marcus and I, we had these kind of lists where we say, oh, we're going to do this when we get old, and we're going to do this when we get older, and we're going to go to this spot. And all of a sudden we felt, no, we don't want to wait for this moment. And without the fact that we don't have children, we are more flexible to do that. And this is why we jumped I wouldn't even say jumped into the cold water because it felt warm already.
Yeah, it's so much something that's on my mind all the time because obviously you know that my husband is 20 years older than me. So,
Right,
he's 73 now and we are forever
right.
saying we will do this sometime. Well,
Mhm.
sometime is really now, right?
Exactly. And as we saw in this pandemic, it's so important to reflect on your life, on your professional life, on your personal life, what values are important for you, what do you need to change? Are you too long in a comfort zone? Is it important to break out of this comfort zone? And luckily, Marcus and I, we really share the same values and we love to travel the world and meet different cultures and yeah, get into new as a foodie, we love to eat different, food styles. And so we always enjoyed this on vacation. But the fact that we can spend a little bit more time in a specific spot and then go to the next spot and explore this area was just something that we felt we can grab. And we didn't wait for it. So we said, okay, let's do it now.
Wonderful. And I would assume that you're doing your training. That's how you're making a living working remotely. But what about Marcus?
Yeah. So first of all, the lucky part here is that I can fully focus on digital training. So it is coaching, it is consulting, it's a lot of writing as well. I really do write a lot for magazines and other blogs and stuff, which will also help me to make an income. But it is still that I do live training because some customers say, no, it's either live or or no option out there. So I schedule, of course, that it makes sense to fly back to Germany or Switzerland or Austria or other places, and I try to bring these meetings together. So I'm for a week maybe in the German area or something. But Marcus also now works fully digital. He's also exploring some new opportunities. For him, it was also time for a change. He has been with DHL for such a long time. So for him, it was important also to have this cut and to be adventurous and test out new opportunities. He's supporting me a lot. I always say he's my CFO and my chief of staff in one person. And the other day, believe it or not, Lucy, he even made a hairdresser's appointment for me. Can you imagine that?
Oh my word.
we reached this status already. Can you imagine? Because I was so busy and we were in a new place. We were not familiar with the area, and I needed to go to the hairdresser. So I said, could you please have a look and find out on Google where are the best places to go? And so he sent me a few options and he said, so which one should I book for you? So he's working for me, but he's working on other projects as well, fully digital. And I love to see that, his mind gets so free, leaving the corporate world. DHL, a very traditional company, they were never very open for remote working. For them, it was tough to have everyone outside their building during the COVID time. So they're bringing people back, especially in the area where Marcus is working. So it was not something that we saw a future in as well. So it helped us to make the decision.
Yeah, great decision. So how many hours a week are you working on average then? Are you saying, well, we're working a certain number of days or a certain number of hours a day, or are you just as busy but just out on the road?
It's really hard to narrow it down to a number. I cannot even tell you a number. When I saw that the question comes in, I felt like, I actually should think of that. Is it really hard to say or easy to say this is the number I work? Of course, it all starts with scheduling my trainings and coaching. So everything else is happening around these events. But which is very important for me, Friday afternoons are free. And this is my creativity block. Nothing gets in the way. It's a non-negotiable for my calendar management. And I try to do better when it comes to traveling, physical traveling, which of course I want to reduce on Mondays and Fridays in general, because it's always tough being on the road and on an airplane. Everyone travels on a Monday, on a Friday when the commuters are going back. So I try to avoid these dates. And sometimes I also discovered that I say more no to Monday trainings, especially when this means I need to arrive on a Sunday. So all of a sudden, I know what it means to set boundaries, because that's really important for this new lifestyle. And luckily, many of my customers are very understanding and give me flexibility.
Yeah, I think that Monday, Friday thing is so important. I have Monday
Totally.
always to do the work that I have agreed to do in the last week. And Fridays is my day to work on things for the business. But if you get into that rhythm, it's wonderful.
Totally. And especially these Friday afternoons, I have a block on my calendar. It's called Me Time. And it's so helpful because I get creative. I write new concepts for trainings. I, can also take care of a few last emails before jumping into the weekend. And I just, finish the day much earlier than the other days, which is very, very helpful. But with this new lifestyle, I also arrange a few free spots in my agenda when it's possible during the week, which is lovely because all of a sudden we have a day off and we can go and explore the area. We can go to a new restaurant we found online on TripAdvisor or something where it is said to be nice. So when we started in May with the Digital Nomad Live, of course I didn't want to go to Austria, which was our first station, and jump from one webinar to the next webinar. This way I don't have anything from beautiful Austria sitting in front of the webcam all the time. So I really reduced quite a few hours and enjoyed the area. And that's what I do also in Slovenia. And it's wonderful just to have a day off in between and explore the area. And I feel so privileged to do that.
It sounds absolutely blissful, I have to say to you. I want to talk to you a little bit about logistics, because that was puzzling me. I mean, how do you get from place to place? Where do you stay? Where do you keep all your stuff? And what about washing your clothes?
I know this was obviously some of the burning questions a lot of people had, and people were commenting when I announced it on social media. So, how do you do that? Where do you bring your books? And what is happening here? How do you do all the logistics? First of all, we got very lucky that we sold the house back in Berlin, fully furnished. A beautiful family moved in with a child, with a dog. It couldn't be better. And we have a huge storage in the Frankfurt area where we are originally from. So of course we cannot throw our life away. So this is where we keep a lot of stuff, because once this adventure is over, and I cannot tell you, Lucy, when this is going to be the case, we say a year at least. But once you come back and you have another base, which might be in Germany or another place, we don't know. Our plan is to actually find a nice spot on this traveling adventure here. So you don't want to start, buying a knife and a cup and all these kind of things. So we have a lot of boxes stored in a storage. And other than that, we have our car with a little trailer, really a small trailer in the back that we take on the road, and we are renting Airbnbs. We are switching between houses and apartments. It needs to suit, of course, our the things that we need in order to live and work, because the number one that I need to have is Wi-Fi. And I can tell you that's the first thing I check out with a potential landlord that has a new wonderful place out there on the internet we are interested to rent. And I always get back and to say, how is the Wi-Fi connection? I need to work. So yeah, these are a few things on our must-have list where we go through. But Airbnb has been a great partner so far, and we've been very lucky with all the stuff. Yeah. And yeah, being on the road with a trailer, we need a parking spot, of course, next to the car. And here we are. It's actually very easy. Never thought that I would drive a car with a trailer in the back, but it felt really good.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm with you. Whenever I'm anywhere in the world and I'm renting Airbnb, the first thing I look at is the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
But
Yes.
after that, I look to see if there are any co-working spaces around, just in case.
True.
Have
True.
you found them useful?
No, actually not, because we always tick the box when it comes to working space in an apartment or in a house. And so far, we've been very lucky that I have a separate room with a desk, and I can probably work and have talks like we have right now, or running my webinars or coachings or whatever. But Marcus, the good organized German guy, he bought a mobile working desk. So just in case we find a beautiful spot that is really, really, just beautiful for us to stay, and there's not a specific working room where I can close my door and everything, we have this folder something, and we can place it anywhere where I can sit and work. So far, we didn't need it, but it's always in our trailer just in case something happens, because also Marcus needs to work. So usually he sits in the kitchen area and installing all his monitors. So it's always kind of a funny thing, especially when we come to the place and we look how we're going to do all the setup. It's his job, of course, bringing all the technology together, the lights and the monitors and the laptop. So then I can get started. I'm happy that he's there with me and helping me to set up this. Yeah.
Well done, Marcus. Sounds great.
Yes.
So listen, when you're actually driving around the place, how do you manage to keep productive then? Or are you just managing that in your schedule so that you don't need to be?
Quite hard also to say. I've always been very productive, so I'm really good with my calendar management. I know when it's important to take breaks during the weekend. Now I learn even more to say no to a few things. I have my wonderful apps and tools with me that help me manage my daily business. I work fully digital, although I'm still a paper and pen girl, and I do have my post-its around me. But this really helps me to stay productive. And also during these, long drives in the car, I have my phone conversations and I write emails when I'm not driving myself, of course. So it's a good mixture for me. And since I live this new life now, it's not even, giving me pressure that I'm sitting in the car answering an email or taking a call, because I know I'm going to a beautiful place and where I can jump into the ocean after delivering a webinar. So this is why I try to really rethink my schedule, and even being productive in the car, where maybe some people would say, no, don't do that. Don't even start doing that, taking calls or writing and messaging. But for me, it's fine, because I know once I arrive in the destination, I can fully concentrate of getting to know this beautiful new area.
Yeah, great point. So you mentioned then your apps and your tech that you couldn't live without.
Yes.
What are the ones that you would really recommend? What are the ones that you use a lot?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a techie girl, so I always love to explore, of course, some apps, and some of them I've been using for quite a while. So probably some of you are familiar with these tools. My to-do list is on Microsoft To Do, obviously. I love ticking boxes, and Marcus and I, we share a to-do list as well, especially now with this new lifestyle. So it's even more important that we take care of the things we needed to do, especially once we left Germany, although we didn't leave Germany fully like a lot of people do when they feel like, oh, I want to go to Bali and I want to be there for 2 years. We are still registered in Germany. I still have my address in Germany, where the bills come, where my virtual office is, where the physical mail arrives. We have someone taking care of that and sending us scans. And so it's important that we have that. I still pay taxes in Germany. So it's not that I fully said goodbye to Germany, but we needed to prepare this, of course. And you can imagine Germany with all these papers and forms. Oh boy, they wanted to know a lot of stuff. But yeah, so Microsoft To Do is a game changer for us. What else? I have a wonderful app that helps me to reflect my day. It's called Dailyo. I'm happy to send you over the list, Lucy, so you can include it in the recording maybe. So it's called Dailyo. It's a great app. It's for free, so everyone please check it out. Every evening at 8 p.m. I get a push message, where Dailyo asks me a few questions about my day. So Diana, how did you do your day? How did you eat? Were you active? Did you have time for family and friends? How did you sleep? I have a little window where I can type a quick message, and I always love to call it my ta-da moment. What was my ta-da moment today? So what was something that made me very happy? And I also love the section where I can actually choose a picture, where I can upload the picture that is connected to this day. So when I go back, and I do this quite often to reflect, how am I doing? Am I doing well in terms of also exercising and eating and having time for myself? I go back and I see all these wonderful pictures, and I remember myself, oh, that was a great day. I uploaded this picture because I got to meet a friend, or we were by the ocean and we discovered a new restaurant. So Dailyo is a great app that helps you to reflect on your day. Of course, I'm a big fan of Trello, which is my project management tool. I'm running a podcast, a Future Assistant podcast, and the guy actually who is my technical expert is a German living in Bali. So he has been out there much longer than I'm living this new life. So time when I get in touch with Sebastian is through Trello. We don't exchange a single email, which is very helpful for me, because as many of you joining us today, we have a full inbox and we want to keep it lean. So I'm very happy that I manage the whole podcast stuff through Trello, which is really, really nice. And I use AI for calendar managing, because in my signature, my Diana Brandl signature, where my website is and everything, I have a little link from Calendly. A lot of people are using Calendly more and more. And people can log in and find a mini slot to talk to me. So it's a 30 minutes, introduction talk with Diana, or a quick check-in. So people book coaching through this Calendly. So again, not an additional email. I have this link, and people are using it. I just got an email the other day, someone booking a coaching session through this AI tool, which is lovely. Yeah. And the
Really nice.
the password manager, maybe I can mention this as the last one, Lucy. My password manager, it's really, really helpful, because I would get lost with all the passwords and all the things I need to type in. It's LastPass. So this is my recommendation for every one of you out there, which is also recommended by lots of cybersecurity experts, LastPass.
Yeah, meant to be very, very good, that one. So which is the one resource that you think that no digital nomad should be without?
Google, YouTube. I always say, talk to Aunt Google and Uncle YouTube because they know everything. But it's true. I mean, of course, we looked into a few forums and we're looking into finding out more about digital nomads, but it's a different style because these are the people like my technician, my podcast technician who actually lives in Bali, who's not coming back to Germany, who stopped his life in Germany. And in our case, it's a little different because we're going to be 2 months here and 3 months there and discovering majorly Europe because also for time zones, I cannot easily say, oh, I'm going over to my brothers to Mexico, who keeps inviting me, of course. But with the time zones, it's not helping me to get up in the middle of the night to deliver a training in Germany. So it needs to be Europe. It is also, of course, important that I have an airport around. So this is where we make also choices of the apartments and houses we are renting, because if I need to hop on a plane and meet a customer live, it should be easy. But in terms of that, yeah, the internet is full of great resources. And of course, I'm always quite interested in technology and how can I update my technology in order to work very productive. So I don't know how many cables are here around and lights and monitors. You don't want to know, but it's quite a lot.
So listen, what do you wish you had known before you became a digital nomad? What has been a surprise?
Honestly, and we just both talked about it because I was telling Marcus, was there any specific surprise? And he said, no, actually not. We were well prepared. Again, the German genes. So we talked this through many times, all these variations. So I think we were very well prepared. There was like no surprise so far. We've been very blessed with the Airbnbs. And you know what, Lucy, what is kind of funny and also a little bit, I don't know, maybe also surprising, we don't miss our home. And we had a beautiful house and we enjoyed this phase in our life a lot. But it's not that we talk about Berlin all the time. It is not that we keep being sad and being, disappointed. Was it the right decision? So I don't know. Maybe it comes. Maybe we see this emotion challenge as well coming up in a different stage. But so far, and Marcus said, it still feels like we are on a vacation, but it's like there's no return because there's no home. we kind of have no home base, right? So I think we prepared very well. Of course, we read a lot, but there was like nothing I would say, oh, I should have known that or this. So of course you need to be aware you're going to Slovenia, there are toll roads, you need to get this digital thingy for your car, these are the things we prepare, but this is Marcus' job. I'm out of it.
Very sensible, I think. Are there any emotional challenges? I mean, you said you don't miss your house, of course.
No. But of course, I miss my family. And I must say, it was hard to tell my mom specifically because my brother being in Mexico now for almost 12 years. And I was always the one being close. I was the one going over there when there was something wrong with the TV or the internet connection. I was always out, although, it was an hour away, Berlin and Potsdam, but we were close. So it was kind of a feeling like now the second child leaves and there's like nobody around, specifically since my mother's husband was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, which is of course something we all don't want to have in your family. It's still an early stage. He's 64, but you see the differences. But my mom wants to travel a lot. They actually booked their flights to visit us in Rome in October. And they're going to be a lot in Mexico because as long as they can travel with her husband, that he is in this condition to travel, they want to be on the road. And of course, they are always welcome to visit us. There's always a spare room. And so she took it really well. And also for me, it was not that much of a challenge because yes, as assistants, we all know that sometimes we are so much focusing on other people in our circle, but we forget to focus on us and on our life and on our values and the things we want to do. So a lot of people were saying to me, yeah, Diane, it's your life. You live this now and it's a decision you took. And of course you include a lot of people in your circle, and sometimes it feels easier to say this out loud. What do you plan to do? And sometimes it's not that hard to say it. Lots of friends, of course, they said, what a great decision. I wish I could do the same. I need to wait until the kids get older, like you said. But of course, talking to my mom felt not easy. And I always try to visit her. And I actually just did last week when I was teaching in Munich. And I went to Berlin to see her. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry to hear about her husband.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
but
Thank
I
you.
think very lovely that they can spend time visiting and traveling and talking about that. Where is it that
Exactly.
you are particularly wanting to visit? I mean, Rome, I'm very jealous of. It's one of my favorite places of the planet. But yes,
And yeah, by the way, you're more than welcome to join us with Duncan anytime. It's so funny, your friends keep messaging you like, so we are thinking of a little weekend getaway. Where are you guys in November? Oh no, Rome. We have been to Rome. Is there anything else you booked already? So it's so funny when you get the messages from your close friends who want to visit you, of course, and we love to have people over. And this is why we always try to have a little spacious place. But yes, right now it's Slovenia. So after this week here in Croatia, we go back to Slovenia, which is a beautiful country. Only for a couple of days we've been there. Ljubljana, beautiful city, lots of old architecture. And I've been really blown away by the city. So we cannot wait to explore more of Slovenia. Very affordable country as well compared to Croatia and Austria. And then we are going to Italy. We're going into the region of Venice, where we're going to be spending 3 weeks. And then we're going down south of Rome, where we found a little nice place not too far from the ocean. It's going to be October, so the tourists will be gone. It's a quiet area, hopefully still warm to enjoy the ocean. And I can't wait to discover this area. And the funny thing is, Lucy, I even have a speaking gig in Italy. Can you imagine that? So people finding out
brilliant.
where I am, so asking me, where are you and can we book you? And I say, of course, it's even easier because I'm already there. So no flight costs and nothing. So I'm very excited to work with Vanya and the team from Secretary IT very soon. Yeah.
Oh, you'll have a wonderful time with
I
them. So
can't
you with them
wait.
in Milan or in Rome?
In Milano, exactly.
Yes, beautiful,
So we're very
lovely.
excited.
And of course, you're always very welcome in Spain. If you wish to
I
visit
know,
us, we'd
and
love to see you.
definitely. So until end of October, we have now booked our trips, and here in Croatia, it's our goal to find the next destination in November, because we are going to see my brother mid of December. So before that, I'm going to be 2 weeks in Germany, also working with you on the Modern Day Assistant class. I cannot wait to welcome you to
Very
Berlin.
excited for that.
Yes, so there will be great days up in Berlin, and after that we're going to Mexico for probably 3 weeks, spending Christmas there with my brother and New Year's. And then actually, in terms of, taking care of yourself, I have the full January off. So this is really a travel month where Marcus and I keep wondering where we should go. Maybe Asia is on the list because we want to find a place that is affordable. I really want to switch off for the full month. And yeah, so this is something we'll still need to plan, but Spain is definitely on the list. We're thinking of going to Mallorca in November to before we go to Berlin and then to Mexico. So let's see. But Javier is going to be on the list next, sure, Lucy.
Good. We have a spare room waiting for you. So listen, what is your favorite thing about this lifestyle? What are you loving most? I mean, I think I can see in your face you're loving most of it, but it would be
Yes.
great. And I have to say how well you are looking. You
Thank
look
you.
radiant, and I haven't seen you
Thank
this
you.
relaxed in a very long time, so it's obviously suiting you. But what is your favorite thing about this lifestyle?
I would say the smell in the morning. It's always a smell of this new culture and new life and new people we get to meet. And it's been so wonderful to meet very helpful people. It starts with the host from Airbnb who came over to say hi, who brought us local food, who welcomed us with a typical wine in Austria. Also in Slovenia, we met the most incredible host. She helped us massively, even unloading our trailer. She organized her dad to be there who speaks German. So the boys already had a conversation. I love this new smell of everything. Maybe this is a little bit poetic, but I love it. And getting up in new places, although a lot of people keep asking, so how is it, sleeping not in your own bed, you're constantly sleeping anywhere, but it's nice. It's nice because what we don't miss is the pressure. What we don't miss is being, in responsibility of taking care of this huge house we had. And we loved our house. We've been there for over 10 years. We have a huge garden, but it was a lot of work. And majorly it was work for Marcus because I was never there. So this is something we don't miss. We go into these nice places. And the other day, Marcus said, "Oh, did you see the light bulb is broken? We don't care." It's not our responsibility. The landlord's going to take care of that, the host, the owner. So we are leaving this place, and it's so easy. And this is why he said this morning it still feels like a vacation. But I'm sure we're going to get into routines, and it will be interesting to see what it does to us as partners, because we're spending a lot of time together. So it will be also quite interesting to see what it does to us. But so far, we are doing pretty well, and I cannot wait to go on this next step of journey.
Lovely. So listen, what then finally is the one piece of advice that you'd give to somebody who was thinking about making the leap to becoming a digital nomad?
Don't wait for it. As we always say, there's never the perfect timing. There's never a perfect timing to build a house, to have a child, to start your business as an entrepreneur. If we start not living our dreams, but constantly talking about our dreams, it's never going to happen. So we made this step into away from all the talking. This is what we're going to do when we get older, into let's do it now. Let's be adventurous. Let's be spontaneous. And as I said earlier, I feel very privileged to do that. We sold the house. We have the financial background to do this, to have this kind of, exploring this new life. And if we find out that's not the system we like anymore, we're going to find a new base. And my hope is that this base is not in Germany anymore. Like you moved to Spain. Hopefully we're going to find a nice spot where we can grow old maybe. And so far it's been wonderful exploring this. So please don't wait if you have the opportunities. And I know a lot of people are scared, especially right now. We are in a crisis, lots of uncertain moments, and this is why I talk a lot about this VUCA world, because it's dynamic, it's unpredictable, and also, of course, it is not always easy for us assistants being out there in a challenging profession, but we need to do that now. So go for it, and don't forget to bring your sunglasses on this trip.
Oh, Diana, this has been such an inspiring session for me personally, and also I know it will be for a lot of the assistants out there, particularly the ones that are now working virtually. My daughter is about to come and join me here in Spain from 3 weeks. Her executive is away for 3 weeks and doesn't care where she's working from. So, it's I think the world has opened up a lot, and I think this will give people inspiration maybe to take the leap and to do the thing. So thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, you can always start negotiating with your employer, because right now we are in the driver's seat. And we, after, what is happening in our world and how companies had to rethink their models, right now they are having a hard time bringing people back into the office, because everyone proved that remote work is possible. And we're successful, right? So we are in the driver's seat. Employees can really talk with their employers and find out what is an option that I might have. I can work from a specific place. I was talking to assistants from Google the other day, and they have, I think, 2 or 3 months they can work from everywhere in the world. It just, of course, needs to be negotiated with the executive directly in terms of time zones and availability. And we all know that that's important. But why not, challenging yourself, having this conversation, and maybe you're going to work from somewhere else sooner than you think.
I love it. Thank you so much, Diana. What a wonderful interview. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Stop recording.